Hey everyone, welcome back. I've got another edition of a how-to video for you today. As you've noticed, I've had some audio issues in the past, just trying to collect good sound with the GoPro when we're out kayaking and everything. So I tried to enhance the audio just by using GoPro's The Frame, and as you can see, it's just open on the back and on the front. So we're trying to do a little bit better. I usually mount it right about there on the kayak as I'm going out, which the seat's back here, and then this is usually pointing towards me so you can see me pull the fish in and everything like that. But for the future, what I would like to do is to make it a little bit better by adding some new features. So what I want to do is I want to install this Boom Pro 600 from Railblaza, and then I've also got an external mic that I'm going to rig up using the GoPro 3.5mm mic adapter. And then to enhance the longevity of the video as far as power goes, I found this waterproof cable backdoor housing that I'm going to attach. I found this on Amazon for about 35 bucks. And then that will plug into a Railblaza E-Series USB star port that I'm going to install, which will also be connected to our battery. And the beauty of this is that it has a USB port that we'll be able to plug into using the waterproof housing to keep the GoPro charged as long as we have charge on the battery, which also powers the fish finder. So I've got a large enough battery that should do me well. So I also went ahead and got an additional housing, and it was this one was made by Suptig, and this is the original GoPro housing, and this is the one I got to replace it. The only difference that I can tell right now, it looks like a really good quality, is but the only difference I can tell is just this little window cut out right here. It's still solid, but it just made an indentation, you know, just for copyright. I'm sure they had to do something different. But anyways, my plan is to get the GoPro in here, and then I will have to drill out a hole on this side just big enough to let the cable go in to attach the mic adapter to plug into the external mount there. We're going to mount both of those onto the platform of the Camera Boom 600, and then that will be rigged up, I'm thinking, on this plate here, which will allow the boom to swing and move freely to capture different angles. So we're going to get started, and I'll take you along for the way. Alright, so the first thing I wanted to do after I got everything unboxed, this was the adapter, that the backdoor housing that's waterproof, and it came with a plug to attach to the COM port and the charging port on the back of the GoPro. So I just wanted to plug it in, make sure everything worked without the battery. As you can see, I've removed it there. So I've got it plugged in just to my iPhone charger. Just any standard USB charger should work. So go ahead and power it on, just make sure everything works, and there you have it. So now that we know that it charges and it runs just fine, we can go continue the install process. First thing we need to do is replace the back door on the housing, and the easiest way to do that, this back door actually pops off. If you can see, there's a little rod that goes right here, and the back door actually hinges on that back rod. I think you can see the clips there right in the middle, but it's easy enough if you just open it a little bit, and you can pop off where this centerpiece is, and it'll come off that rod, and then you put the new door on. And this is what it looks like with the new door attached. As you can see there, we got the new door clipped on right there in the middle like we were discussing, and the GoPro will go in there with the dongle attached to it on the back side, and we'll have our endless power. So now that we have the back door waterproof version attached, you can see we've got the GoPro in there. and exactly what we need to do to attach the mic. So the microphone is going to go into this mini USB port right here. So we'll need to drill out a hole to allow access to the microphone accessory to go in there and the cable to come out. But I'm really happy with the way things are looking. That's essentially the housing, and it has a cable gland that allows the cable to go through and ensures a watertight seal on the back of this new back door. It is essential to remove the battery with this housing because, as you can see, that connection goes through and it would protrude and hit the battery and stop it from connecting in there. So once you do have this back door on, you'll have to remove the battery. So just a note on that. Okay, so the kit for the USB Railblazer mount comes with a base, which is what we'll use as a template to kind of guide where we're going to set it on the mounting plate. So the USB will connect right here, which keeps it kind of protected from water splashing this way while we're out on the water. So the way that will end up looking will be something like this, where the Railblazer boom mount will sit here and be able to swing around, and the USB will be wrapped up cable that comes up that way. So USB plug-in will be here, which allow this little water spout or water track here will allow water to drain out in case it gets in there, but it'll also allow easy access to plug in any cables or anything we have there. So once it's mounted, the cable will come up through the small gap in the mounting plate right here, and we'll run it back down and connect it into the battery just like we do with the fish finder on the other side. So as you can see now, was successful in just making a little notch to allow the cable to come out to the back. So once we have it mounted, everything will sit nice and flush. We'll be able to run the cable down into the track and out just like we planned. And once we had the notch cut out, it was necessary to remove the plate itself so that we could run the bolts through the entire system, down through the mounting plate, and bolt it onto the back side. So now we've got that part done. The cable will sit underneath here. Get it going. And that way everything is nice and hidden and flush. When we screw it back down, you'll only see the cable going from here into and mounting to the battery. Now that we've got the star mount, USB mount, wired and mounted here, we can now wire the actual cable to the battery terminal. So my battery is still in here, and if you've watched my Humminbird install video, you know that I installed a fuse block here, and it has a waterproof housing on this side, and it allows me to hook up 6 different connections with 6 different amperage fuses in there. So fortunately I have some other number 3s. So this the waterproof housing that we're going to use requires a 3 amp fuse. So I'm going to install that on this side and then run the positive on the back side, back through the fuse and out this way, and then hook it up. So now you can see we have both the GoPro, you can see the blue light blinking for the Wi-Fi. So the GoPro is running as well as the Humminbird, and they're both connected to the battery inside. And you can see how I've kind of got things mounted up. You can see the Railblazer Boom 600 Pro as well as the Humminbird there. Everything is wired together based on this fuse block, and I just went ahead and made that dongle in the picture to connect all the back side of that fuse block, and all the fuses we can just put them in here for whatever we need. So I still have 4 more slots that we can expand on, but everything looks to be running and working really good. So the only thing that we have left to do, and I had to order another part to be able to do this, but I needed a cold shoe mount to mount the Rode microphone that we got, and it's going to sit right about here. One of the other things that we still have left to do is to make the hole in the new case for the microphone adapter that GoPro makes. So I'm going to end up tracing this as tight as I can right around that outline, and then use a Dremel tool to cut through the case as close to this as possible, just for water tightness. And then what we'll end up doing is taking some swimmer's ear wax earplugs, and we're going to seal around this edge whenever we put it in there. So that way we actually do have a little bit more water protection, just in case anything does decide to get over or in this area, or if it falls off or dumps over, whatever the case may be. That way we've got a nice tight seal. So once we have the GoPro mounted, the only thing we have left to do is make the hole for the mic connection, which I've already done, and it came out really good. So what I did was I just used a simple Dremel tool and rounded that out, punched through the plastic housing just enough. So let me get turned around so you can see, but just enough for the mic adapter to fit in there, and it fits nice and snug. If I can do it with one hand, 1 second. But as you can see, it fits nice and snug in there, so we should have a really tight connection already. But what I'll end up doing is taking earplug wax and just pressing it, a little bit of it, around this seal to make it just that much more waterproof. So we're looking good. The only thing we need to do now is to get the mounts in from Amazon, and I'll put a link to everything I've used in the description of the video. So but that's the only thing we need, and then we should be rigged up and ready to go. So I ordered a couple pieces from Amazon, and the main thing that I really needed was this cold shoe adapter that I'm going to mount right here on the back of the Railblazer boom. And this way, once we have the microphone, sorry, I had to reach for it. Once we have the microphone, we can slip it into the cold shoe, just like this. So as you can see, that bottom plate of the microphone will slide right into the cold shoe, and then we can screw it down right here and lock it in place. And this angle, I've measured it and checked in the view of the GoPro. It will actually not capture the edge of the microphone in the shot whenever we're filming. So we should get great audio now and still have a great view.